We've lost the ability to say, I'm sorry. And I'm thinking about the Anthony Fauci Diaries, which are beyond embarrassing, mostly to the celebrities who started COVID podcasts just so they could, book him. They were scared, like all of us, and he was served up to us as this great government scientific genius who's been behind the scenes for 40 years and now coming forward to meet the moment, fulfill his destiny. He was sold this way to comfort an anxious world. To his credit, he played the part with tremendous enthusiasm. But we know now that we weren't grooving on him half as hard as he was grooving on himself. He wrote in that embarrassing diary, big front page article about me appeared in the Washington Post, very flattering. The situation with my national and international fame is explosive and really unimaginable. It's not hyperbole to say today I'm the most famous and talked about person in the country and one of the most recognizable persons in the world. Seriously, POTUS, the president, seems to be enamored of me, even though I'm taking the spotlight away from him. And there it is. The guy was fangirling on himself so hard, but the media picked up on his tension with Trump. And his media darling status was complete, right? The Sunday shows, the magazine covers, the celebrity podcasts. Because more than an effective and credible voice in a challenging time, the media really just wanted a credible, serious opposition to crazy Trump, who's talking of Tylenol bad, hydrochloroquine good. The reason Fauci hasn't opened up to the fact that he suspected the virus came from the Wuhan lab, the Institute of Virology, because he didn't want to sacrifice his newly minted status as the darling of the media. He would go from savior to racist in 2 seconds. A year into the pandemic, New York Times global health reporter Apurva Mandavili wrote, "Someday we will stop talking about the lab leak theory and maybe admit its racist roots, okay? But alas, that day is not yet here." How gross is that? Yeah, the far more racist theory was the media's, that COVID occurred due to primitive, unsanitary Chinese bat-eating wet markets. Glenn Greenwald wrote that, by the way, and it's so true. From the same people who espouse my body, my choice, and yet shamed you if you didn't jab yourself with a hurried-to-market vaccine. And because politics is a zero-sum game and getting worse, the left has his back today because admitting fault is way too costly. It just costs political power. So no, I'm sorry. Tony Fauci protected scientists from China, our number one adversary. And he also deliberately lied, not just about his skills as a baseball player. I mean, wow, that pitch left of Mamdani. In regards to the case fatality rate, he knew that COVID was akin to just a bad flu and not a global civilization ender. He wrote in February of 2020, before the shit hit the fan, this is acting like a bad influenza in its transmissibility, and that the fatality rate is more like 0.2 to 0.3% rather than 2.0%. But what could be more exciting to a power-drunk little elf than canceling a 5-year-old's birthday party, insisting on virtual funerals, social distancing in the grocery store? The mainstream media, the legacy media who crowned Tony Fauci, was silent then, and they still are. Zero coverage of his, I thought, very unfortunate performance in front of the Senate, except on Fox. They covered it. Finally, in 2005, George W. Bush first warned the world that a global pandemic was not a matter of if, but when. He asked Congress for $7 billion and launched the National Strategy for Pandemic Influenza to accelerate vaccine research, manufacturing capacity, helping states and local governments develop response plans, stockpile antivirals. A lot of people dropped the ball from that point forward, to be fair. None have apologized. But one guy was running the show through every single administration, the one common thread, and that's Anthony Fauci. There is great redemptive strength and growth potential in the ability to say, I'm sorry. Imagine if we never did that in our relationships, right? They'd all end. Whose marriage would survive? But we tolerate leaders who lie and then stonewall or dig in their heels and gaslight. Character used to matter. It still does to me.